Do you understand why he's saying it can't be possible?
Yes, I understand, because of physical and the understanding that men will always dominate women.
It's not dominant.
It's
It's just that you need somebody to enforce those things that y'all would want.
Understand. In a nutshell, what he's saying is that women have rights because men give it to them. Do you understand what he means by that?
Oh, yes, I do.
Go ahead.
So when you say that, the thing is that when you're prioritizing that, you are always going to say that men are always going to have the power, mostly because women are smaller in stature.
We're the physical enforcers,
yes, yes, 100%. But when you raise generations with the mindset of understanding that it's not about kill or be killed, it's not about beating the shit out of someone, it's not about proving your dominance over how strong you are, that is when true equality starts to build.
I agree with that. I think we're here, but the argument is that that's only here because the men have reached that point.
But when you ask me that question, that's my answer.
Because the issue is that if men decide that they're not going to do that, and they're not going to actually obey these rules that we've all decided as society, which I think are good things, then things can regress.
Well, that's why I'm saying that as of right now, no. I agree with you that men are always just going to be dominating everything.
We need men to do it.
What he's saying is that it's never going to change. Because we've actually seen in society in other countries where things have regressed. You look at Iran, Afghanistan, the men just decide one day, that's it, we're just going to go back. And that's really what it is. I mean, God forbid it happens here, but the underlying principle is that women's rights come from the fact that men who agree that women should have rights are willing to physically fight for those rights. Because if all the men decide that women shouldn't have rights, the women unfortunately can't fight physically to get those rights.
I think that's the whole entire purpose of what she was saying earlier. Like, that's the whole reason why we're doing protests, to have our own rights. That's
but your protests on their own won't be enough unless there's men to support them.
Yeah, but that's not the point. The point is that we're at least making the effort to go out of our way and say that, like, this is our voice, this is what we're doing. But the bottom line is men don't have that choice over. Men don't have that choice over us all the time, and that's
I understand
the whole
that
issue.
And the reason you're able to have these protests because there's men like me and him who agree you should protest.
That's what we're basically saying, is that we give y'all the right to be able to do everything that you do.
Because if all the men decide we don't care about the protests, they'll just beat the women up. Like, I'm really just trying to break it down.
Let a man come beat me up. Let's see.
Oh, no.
No, I would say it like this. Silly. Like you said earlier, right? With the stature of men being short or tall, right? It doesn't matter anymore because we have guns. Right?
Yes,
that's what you said.
And still, as enforcers, y'all would lose a war of 100 women versus 100 men.
Inevitably, combat comes to close quarters combat, where guns will not be. The logical conclusion is that. I can't believe we're.
I mean, most women are liberals, so I don't think they'll be picking up guns anyway.
I didn't know this was a podcast for debate.
So
I didn't know that this was a podcast for debating.
No, it's just talking.
I mean, yeah, we definitely debate. I mean, we definitely debate a lot of stuff on this podcast. So yeah, I mean, yeah, this is a podcast where we talk about everything. No, I want to.
You think I'm being hostile right now?
I don't know. You think I'm being hostile right now?
Not at all. Not at all.
Exactly, because I'm a woman. Why would I be hostile?
Well, see, that's being condescending and very passive. See, I'm not doing that. I could start doing that, and it's not going to be very nice. At the beginning of this show, I said very clearly, I'm going to be very nice and polite because there's only two of you today. Because I understand, as a man, you don't want to come in here and start acting and yelling. So I've been very quiet and very patient.
Who was the one off camera saying that they didn't want to start something it was something along the lines of just
if you're about to quote me, make sure you quote me very accurately.
Oh, no, I was just overhearing. But I didn't know it was you, so...
No, I'm not sure what you were saying, but if you're about to quote me, always make sure you quote accurately.
I said, who was the one?
Go ahead. Finish your sentence. Who was the one who was?
I never said anything. I said, who was the one who mentioned something along the lines where they didn't want to get into an argument over something necessarily like petty or like come at somebody sideways because this is a podcast. And, it was.
I never heard anybody say
actually, I'm really lost. I'm not sure.
Who was saying this at any point?
Give me a second. It was. Everybody has their own opinionated something.
Yeah, I have no idea what you're talking about. And
I thought you were going to quote me saying something. I was just just be sure.
It was. I was talking to her.
Well, all right.
Yeah, I don't think y'all are hearing very good. The biggest thing I really want to break down though is like, do you like if you go on a date, I'm gonna ask both of y'all. If y'all go on a date, do y'all want the guy to split the bill equality 50-50?
I'll pay for it myself.
You'll pay for the whole thing.
Yeah.
What would you prefer?
I would like
doing it
to pay for myself. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay,
Do you
so
think
like
most women want to pay for themselves on a date?
I'm not answering for most women. You asked for me.
Well, the world works on general. Well, no, we first asked about you, then we asked what you think about most women. There's no reason to be hostile. The world works in generalities. We can say that. Actually, you answered earlier when I asked you, do most women prefer taller men? You had no problem answering that. So I'm going to ask you another very similar question. Do most women would prefer the guy to pay?
Not the ones that I know.
So the world extends more than people than
yes,
you know,
I understand,
right? So
but like, isn't it? I would say majority of the entire world, yes.
Sure.
But in the U.S., I feel like for me, I have trauma from men thinking that they can own me.
So again, we first asked you guys what you would want, and then we transitioned to asking what people in general want. So there's no reason to bring it back to yourself because we're trying to have a fluid conversation about it.
But you're not letting me have a fluid conversation, and I thought we're not interrupting each other, and I just got interrupted.
You answered the question. That's why we're trying to move on.
Yeah.
Okay. Then I think that most women, they definitely want their meals to get paid for it.
There's no reason for the condescending attitude
I don't
or the tone
understand.
in your voice.
I don't understand, like, what? Like, you actually feel like you're not being hostile at all?
I don't think so, no.
You don't think so?
I think you're getting offended by some things because it's just like really basic questions, and like
I feel
sometimes
like
like if you
women-
beat around a
sorry.
bush, like we're gonna kind of be like, yo, just just answer the simple question. It's simple,
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Repeat the question again. Sorry.
Like, do you want to split dinners? 50-50?
Okay, so with that whole entire, do women feel like they need their meals paid for, right? That was one of the questions like that?
Well, that's
No.
not. I'm asking you right now, though. Do you think that women should do you want to split 50-50 personally?
I would not want to split 50-50, no.
So, and do you want him to pay or you want you to pay?
I would rather pay for myself.
Okay.
Okay, so that would be splitting 50-50 if you're paying for yourself.
Oh, well, I guess, yeah.
Okay, so you do want to do 50-50.
I thought y'all meant like...
Okay,
I didn't catch that either, actually.
Okay,
but yeah,
so you like to do 50-50. Now, do you think in general women like to do 50-50 where they want the meal to be paid for?
Yes.
In general,
of the women, just like men, I feel like do want their things to be paid for, whether it's food, clothing, etc. I think it's very like a double standard to like say that.
That's why I wanted to ask: is there what's wrong with that?
It's not necessarily like.
Is there anything wrong with that?
I think it is wrong. I feel like if you aren't able to pay for your own stuff in general, or like if you're wanting to pay for somebody else's food, I think just like how I was saying earlier, like I've been inside those situations many of times where like people will offer to pay for my own food, but at the end of the day they like to like throw that shit back at your face, and it's like, well, I would have just paid for myself in the beginning. Like that's not
so
that
do you go on dates with guys that you don't plan on like dating like that, like have you ever gone on a date with a guy just for dinner? No? Like every guy that you've gone on dinner with, you've planned on wanting to be in a relationship with them.
I mean,
wow, that's crazy, because I ask a bunch of panels of women this question all the time, and they always say, yeah, I go to dinners all the time, and I'm not trying to date the guy at all. So you're an exception to the rule because you're the type where every guy that you go on a date with, like you're like, okay, I really like this guy and I'm going to split the bill 50-50 and I really like you.
Well, then at that point, why can't I just eat a meal by myself? If I don't want your company at all, if I don't want to get to know you, if I don't like you, why would I spend my time with you?
And I think that's
well,
also,
I mean, there's a lot of people who do. That's why I'm explaining to you. If
terrible.
y'all are exceptions to the rule that doesn't do that,
I think
that's crazy.
Also what's been happening is that like men will go out of their way to do things that they think is like acceptable for women. Like, yeah, you can pay for my food, but you're not getting anything in return. And I feel like that's a lot of like that's just what's been happening. Like they think that, oh, I'm gonna pay for your food today, I'm gonna pay for your trip tomorrow, right? But you're not actually getting anything, and I feel like that's where it turns into like a bad situation for females, or like for women, because
you get hurt.
If you attract those type of people, it's your own
men's
fault.
egos get
like
hurt.
That's
like,
no, yeah,
that's
1,000%. If you have a guy that's like, as soon as y'all go to dinner, he's expecting sex from you, you're attracting those type of people because you put off a certain type of vibe.
But it was
that's exactly why you attract those type of guys.
Guys go for the long run and not just necessarily for like short runs, right? You mentioned that your guy best friend can like have some secret
admiration.
Admiration
yes,
for
beta
you
orbiters, yes,
for a long ass time, just for that one slip up to like get at you. And it's like, I feel like that's how majority men are. Yes to like physical appearance. You said, yeah, it helps, but I feel like that's a majority of men. Like, you need to have that physical attraction. You need to have those voluptuous boobs, ass, skinny waist, or even like for men who like bigger, busts or whatnot.
Fat ass too, respectfully.
These guys you go on dates with, do they offer to pay when the check comes? Typically, I'm talking about you two personally. When you meet these guys, do they offer to pay?
Sometimes.
Honestly, most of the times they don't even say anything. They just
pay it. Okay.
Well, sometimes I just do that too.
You offer to pay first?
I will put my card down at the same time. I don't do the whole like, I'm gonna look through my purse.
like to set this.
You're a different breed.
I like to set this boundary before anything. Like the whole entire
so when the guy puts the card, when the guy tries to pay, what do you do?
Oh, I can pay for my stuff.
You offer to pay? Do you let him pay if he says no? Or you insist on paying?
I argue. I'm like, I can pay for my own things. Yeah, I can do that. And he's like, oh, no.
All right, let me give you both some good advice. If a guy
from who?
Coming from some guy. Another man.
Another man.
man.
All right.
Another man.
Let me hear your perspective on this.
If a guy offers to pay,
what?
It's good to offer to pay. But if he says no, he got it, let him pay it.
Oh my God, mind blown.
Why?
I love two different reactions. One's a sarcasm, like, oh, this guy's full of shit. This other one, she's like, why? Good question. Why? Men actually appreciate women trying to help. We actually do.
It's a green flag.
See, I think that trying to help, but when we actually do help, I feel like a lot of men feel like they're being emasculated.
It's not that they're being emasculated. I would say that guy's a bitch. I would say that guy is just actually a bitch. Like, that's it.
You could also say this. Like, when you said earlier, like, why would you not want to go on a date with someone if you thought, like, if we were... Wait, what did you say earlier? Sorry. You said something along the lines of you going on a date with someone and if you thought that they were going to treat you disrespectfully.
I'm sorry. Oh, well, what we're saying...
No, what you were saying earlier. I forgot exactly what you said.
I know, I can't
remember. Some girls go out with guys they don't even like just to get a free meal.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but, like, with that, I don't agree with that. I would never do that. Because, one, that's your hard-earned money. I have my own hard-earned money. Why would I want you to spend that on me when I could just go to dinner by myself, hang out with some friends that I actually like?
Yeah, I mean, we're not saying you do it. We just saw people do it.
We're just saying women are resource extractors.
But what you said, but what you said was, when you go on a date with someone and, they act like an asshole or whatever, you should have known. You should have known.
No. What I'm saying is that, like, usually that it's a woman's fault. Like, usually that they need to take accountability. Like, usually it's what they put up on their Instagram. They have their ass out in a bunch of pictures, and the type of guys that DM them, the type of guys that take them out to dinner, those are the type of guys that want to fuck you immediately because you're showing yourself as a certain type of girl, and they're like, oh, she must be this type of hoe. I'm gonna fucking take her to dinner, and she's probably gonna fuck because she has her ass all over Instagram. She's a hoe, right? Next thing you know, he's like, oh, damn, she's not a hoe. She's just one of those girls that puts her ass all over Instagram. But she probably fucks Chad and Tyrone in one night, but I'm not that guy, so I'm not going to get it tonight.
So I could put up a front that, like, I'm going to fuck, and then you're gonna dive into that, right? But you could put up a front that you're a really good guy, and then you're going to treat me with respect. Okay, absolutely. I just want to know that was, like, a common thing.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like, the thing is that, like, when I go on dates, I expect you to be a nice person because I'm going to be a nice person. I'm going to treat you with respect. I'm going to listen to what you have to say. I'm going to try to engage with you. I'm going to try to find common ground because that's what a date should be. But if you're saying already that, like, oh, well, you're the problem, I always try to pick people that I like, that clearly we might mesh well. But when I find out that you're not that, am I the problem?
Well, we're not even discussing that about you personally. Like, you don't.
No, I don't. I'm asking because that was something that really just stuck out to me in that conversation.
Well, no, I'm just saying that you reap what you sow. The biggest thing that I want everybody to understand in the dating world is you reap what you sow. If you put certain pictures out, if you act a certain way, if you're a certain type of person, you're going to attract certain types of people. So if a girl is getting, if she has gone on 100 dates and every single fucking guy tried to smash after paying for dinner, she has something going on with her that attracts those type of things. And as a dating coach I date coach for women too. a lot of them have this problem where they keep attracting certain type of people. And the second we change their Instagrams, the second we change just little things about them, they start attracting whole different types of guys. So my first default thing that I always go back to whenever somebody keeps experiencing something the same, it's like, well, you should change something about yourself now, because that's what might change something that's happening over and over and over again. Like, you can't always blame the other people. Sooner or later, you got to be like, you know what? Why don't I change this one thing about myself and then see if I attract something different?
Hey y'all, Sergio here. I just want to mention I've created a completely free guide that shows you exactly how I went from having low confidence and being painfully awkward around women to easily meeting and dating numerous high quality desirable women in real life without the use of any dating apps or social media. So if you're struggling to get out there, if you have approach anxiety or don't know what to say or how to interact with women to make them want you, and are sick of using dating apps with low value girls that hundreds of other guys have been chatting with, click the link in the description below to grab your free guide right now. And if you want private mentorship with me personally to help guide you every step of the way in this process, check out my mentorship program in the description too. I would be happy to help you reach your dating goals and overcome any obstacle you may face. And trust me, if I can do it, you can do it too. I hope to see you soon. Peace out.